turn to Malachi. Malachi 3, 1 through 6. I don't know if you have ever seen this text before, but we're going to apply it where they belong. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Malachi 3. Behold, I am sending my messenger, and he will clear the way for me. We know the messenger was John the Baptist. Certainly he will come to his temple, the Lord whom you seek. The Lord whom you seek that will come to the temple is Mashiach. And this is a fulfillment because the Messiah had to come during the second temple. Before the second temple was destroyed, Messiah had to come based on Daniel's prophecy, Daniel chapter 9. He had to die before the second temple was destroyed. But this is talking about he will come to his temple, he will be there for the second temple, and he will also come into the third temple. What Messiah will do is a twofold fulfillment. Messiah, it says, behold, the Lord whom you, he said, behold, suddenly he will come to his temple, the Lord whom you seek, that's Mashiach. And the messenger of the covenant, the one whom you desire, behold, he is coming, says Adonai Sabaoth. But who can, verse 2, who can endure the day of his coming? Or who can stand when he appears? What will he do when he comes? For he will be like a refiner's fire. He will be like a refiner's fire and like a soap. Now, this is Yeshua's second coming, not his first. Why? It says in Isaiah chapter 42, and it was quoted in Matthew 12, that Yeshua, he spoke with parables. And he said, a smoking flax he will not quench. A bruised reed he will not break. So if Yeshua will not quench a smoking flax, in his first coming he came as a peaceful lamb. He came peaceful in his first coming. He came as a lamb in his first coming. He said, a bruised reed he will not break. Isaiah talks about his servant in his first coming. How he come? He come humble. A bruised reed, he will not break the reed. He will not quench the smoking flax. He will not quench it. But look here. This is his second coming. Because he said, but who can endure the day of his coming? Remember, the Lord shall descend with fire. He will come to trap the winepress with the wrath and fierceness of the Almighty God. He's coming in the seventh wrath. The seven last plagues. He's coming in the last trumpet. With wrath. He's coming with fire. He's coming with a shout. When he came, the first time he came on a donkey. He came in a manger. He came as a lamb. He's coming his second time as a lion. And he's coming riding on a horse, not a donkey, in the clouds. He's coming in the clouds, not the manger. He's coming in a cloud on a white horse from heaven. A horse from heaven.
Somebody say on a spaceship. He just said he's good.
So who can endure the day of his coming? So we know that the endurance of his coming, I could not be his first coming. Because there's nothing to enjoy in his first coming. He come as a baby, helpless. Saying Abba. Calling Joseph father and calling Mary mother. But now he coming, calling nobody mother and this and that. He's coming. Who can stand when he appears? He will be like a refiner's fire. He's coming like fire. His eyes, Revelation 19 says, will be like a flame of fire. He will be like a refiner's fire and like soap for clean, plunder them and loot those who loot them. It is a declaration of Adonai. Look at this now. 11. On that day, so for 7 years, they will use the weapons for electricity. On that day I will give Gog a burial place there in Israel, the valley of travelers east of the sea. The Mediterranean Sea, and the east of the Mediterranean Sea, that's part of Armageddon. That's where they will be gathered. He will have a place for them to be buried. Remember I tell you, after this war, after the 7 plagues, there is a lot of devastation on the earth. The earth will be devastated, including Jerusalem. Then I will call it the valley of Hamangog. The house of Israel will bury them for 7 months. How many months they will be burying these people? 7 months they're burying God. And they're burying the people. Why? There's a reason. All the people of, he says, then they will call it the valley of Hamangog. The house of Israel will bury them for 7 months in order to do what? You see the word again? To cleanse. To cleanse the land. Remember, Messiah, when he comes, the land has to be cleansed. The tabernacle has to be cleansed. The people have to be cleansed.
They'll be good fertilizer.
All the people of the land will bury them for 7 months. 7 months now, burying them to cleanse the land. The land has to be cleansed. All that war, all this dead all around. If you don't bury the dead, you know what disease? Cholera. It gets into your water. The decaying flesh gets into the water supply. You get cholera. You get all kind of disease. All kind of disease. When people are not buried, a lot of disease spread. Ebola, cholera, all the ras you get. All the people of the land will bury them because they have to be buried. There's a lot of people that will be dying. A lot. It will be a memorial for them. A day when I am glorified. 14. Men will be continually set apart to travel through the land and bury the travelers remaining on the face of the land. So we have to purify that land. You have to cleanse the land from the dead. Remember, the dead is a very impure thing. You cannot bring, if you even touch the dead, you cannot go near the sanctuary. So they have to cleanse this land. You have to cleanse the land. It says at the end of 7 months, they'll make their search. After burying them, after 7 months burying them, they will still be searching. He will set up a sign by it. 15. When they travel through the land, if any sees a man's bone, if there is a bone, he will set up a sign by it until the burier have buried it in the valley of Hamangog. Hamona will also be the name of the city. So we already have a name for that place. East of the Mediterranean. The place name is Hamona. So if there's no place in Israel named Hamona, we already know what we will call it. Hamona, east of the Mediterranean, in Israel, to bury Gog and the armies. To bury the armies of the world that come again. What does it mean? Horde. So to gather, hoarding. You like to hoard? You like, okay. So he's going to gather, the gathering. He's going to gather them. Hamona. So they will be, so look at the last part of 16. So they will cleanse the land have to be cleansed. That's the Day of Atonement. The cleansing of the land, the cleansing of the people, the cleansing of the holy place, removing the bad spirits, removing the idols, removing every unclean thing. Son of man, thus said Elohim, said to every kind of bird, because after these people die, before the decaying flesh get into the water supply and give us disease, what will happen? The Lord talked to every kind of bird and every beast of the field. Assemble and come. Gather from all around my sacrificial feast, to my sacrifice that I have prepared for you. So this day, even the Day of Atonement, is also called the day when the Lord have a sacrifice. That's a day when God is hoarding or gathering the nations for a sacrifice. There's a feast. He said, Solomon said, Adonai, Elohim said, to every bird, all the birds, all the birds, all the birds. Hey, not just the predator birds. You hear me? Not just the predator birds. Not just the vultures. Not just the eagles. Not just the birds that eat flesh and drink blood. The predator birds. He's speaking to all the birds. Chicken, duck, ostrich. All of them. All the birds will be gathered together for a feast.
And the wild birds.
And the beasts. Isn't that amazing? Why? It's atonement, it's cleansing. It's a sacrifice, it's cleansing. Why? Assemble and come, gather from all around the world to my sacrificial feast. That's the feast of atonement.
God prepared everything else.
I have prepared for you a feast. Come and eat. God gathered them, the nations. A great sacrifice on the mountain of Israel. You will eat the flesh and drink their blood, all the birds and the beasts. Even sheep might be eating flesh and drink blood. Sheep and goat, cow might be. Herbivores might end up eating flesh and drinking. Hey! Gather them. You will eat flesh, he says, the flesh of mighty men, and drink the blood of princes of the earth, as rams, lambs, goats, bulls. Then of the fattening of Bashan. So you will eat fat until you are gorged. And you will drink blood until you are drunk. So you see, the birds and the beasts will have a feast of men for my sacrificial feast that I have prepared for you. You will be filled at my table with horses and horsemen, with mighty men, with all warriors. It is the declaration of Adonai. Does that make sense, brethren? The cleansing of the land. Why? Because if the flesh, that's why they will look for the bones. Because after these animals, the beasts and the birds finish eating flesh and drinking blood, the bones will be left. All they have to do is come and take their bones and go and bury it in the valley of Amanda. The land will be cleansed. He said you have to cleanse the land. For 7 months they're going to burn the weapons. 7 years they burn the weapons. 7 months. What they're going to do? They're going to bury the dead. And the bones will be buried. More proof. That's God's sacrifice. Do you know that God talked about that sacrifice by another prophet? Turn to Isaiah 34. Another prophet going to tell you the same thing. Isaiah 34. A sacrifice God had. Somebody want to read? Verse 1. Go down.
You nations, come here and listen. You peoples, pay attention. Let the earth hear and all that fills it, the world and all that comes from it. The Lord is angry with all the nations, furious with all their armies. He will set them apart for destruction, giving them over to slaughter. Their slain will be thrown out, and the stench of their corpses will rise. The mountains will flow with their blood.
The mountain will melt down with their blood. The mountains will flow with their blood. The stench, the smell of them. the Lord is angry with all the nations. Isn't that something else? Isn't he speaking about the same thing? The mountain will be drenched with their blood. When you read Revelation 14, you're going to see in the last verse that the horse, the blood, when that reaper, he said there was an angel and he would come to reap the earth. When he reaped the earth and he gathered a cluster of the earth in the winepress of the wrath of God, he said when he pressed the winepress, the blood of the grapes reached horse bridle. Man,
That's at least 4 feet high.
man's blood will be so flowing on the mountains. So that's why I think there'll be a great destruction on the land, but also the death will be so heavy on the land have to be cleansed. So God have to call all the birds, he have to call all of the beasts, and we have to bury these dead, because the land will be greatly defiled. So if this is the Day of Atonement, he have to cleanse. All that mess have to be cleansed. That's why there will be a great cleansing in Israel. So it will start in Israel, but it's going to be around the world. Okay, keep reading, Sister Alex.
All the heavenly bodies will dissolve. The skies will roll up like a scroll, and their stars will all wither, as leaves wither on the vine and foliage on the fig tree. When my sword has drunk its fill in the heavens, it will then come down on Edom and on the people I have set apart for destruction. The Lord's sword is covered with blood. It drips with fat, with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord has a sacrifice in Bozrah, a great slaughter in the land of Edom.
So what does he have in Bozrah? A sacrifice. He called the birds for his sacrifice and the beasts for the sacrifice. The Lord have a great sacrifice. And higher up he talks about the mountain will be melted with their blood. It talks about all the nations will be gathered together. It's the same event from a different perspective of the prophet.
And who is Edom in our time?
Edom in our time is Rome, is and the Muslims, is the Roman, is Babylon, Mystery Babylon. It's basically the religious entities today.
Right.
This whole system. But Rome is the Edom today. But Rome is the one have the whole world deceived in false religion. And also they are the ones who created the Muslim faith. They are the ones responsible for all this mess. Rome. So that's Edom. And the Arabs is following Rome. So it refers to the Arabs who basically is the arm of Rome trying to destroy Israel. For Adonai, our sacrifice in Bozrah, a great slaughter in the land of Edom. He will tell you why. Why he's so angry. Why he have this great slaughter. With oxen will he go down? Keep reading down to verse 8, sister.
Okay. The wild oxen will be struck down with them, and young bulls with the mighty bulls. Their land will be soaked with blood, and their soil will be saturated with fat. For the Lord has a day of vengeance, a time of paying back Edom for its hostility against Zion.
For the hostility against Zion. You see why God is angry? Because of the controversy of Zion. The dispute over the land. Because Rome wants the land. The Muslim want the land. The world, Christianity want the land. He gave that land to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and their seed for a perpetual inheritance. For the controversy. For the hatred. For the hostility against Zion. They stole God's land and they put the abomination there. God is angry.
Yeah.
So there's a sacrifice in Bozrah. So Isaiah talked about a sacrifice where the Lord would have a sacrifice in Bozrah. Ezekiel 39 talk about the beasts and the field and the birds eaten and being gorged with blood of man and flesh. Another prophet talks about it. Revelation, John. Revelation 19. Revelation 19, 17 to 21.
Then I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the birds that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather together for the supper of the great God, that you may eat the flesh of kings, the flesh of captains, the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses, and of those who sit on them, and the flesh of all people, free and slave, both small and great. And I saw the... How far?
21.
Oh.
Okay, hold on there. You're going to read 19 after. So you see here another sacrifice of the... You talk about the banquet. You know, that God, that's the banquet of God for the birds to eat human flesh. All of this is to purify the land. Do you understand what will happen? All the animals will be used to purge the land, to clean the land, literally from human remains. Come and gather together at the great banquet, the sacrifice of God. We read it in Isaiah. We read it in Ezekiel 39. That's the same event. Birds will be gathered together, and all the beasts of the field will be gathered together twice. To do what? To eat flesh like that? No, this is one event. This is the cleansing of the land. And it's this chapter, Revelation 19, is the war against Messiah. The war against, when they gather together against Messiah. When really, in Zechariah, they were fighting against Israel and Messiah come. Right here, it's talking about they fighting Messiah. So Israel is looking at it from a different angle, but they all talk about the same war. Revelation 19 is the Armageddon war, when Messiah comes, and the beast and the false prophet end up fighting Messiah. They didn't know that they thought they were attacking Israel. But to their surprise, they will be attacking the heavenly host.
Wow. Surprise.
Because Messiah will intervene. The Lord will roar out of Zion. God thought he's going to go down and take a spoil. God thought he's going to go down and take a spoil. But something happened. While God going to destroy Israel on the mountains of Israel, he was surprised. God said, I will shake the heaven. Listen, this is something. When you read the word of God, let me show you something in the word of God. Let me show you. Look at this. 19. 38:19. Ezekiel. In my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath, I have spoken. Surely in that day, there will be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. The fish of the sea, the birds of the heavens, the beasts of the fields, all creeping things that creep upon the ground, and all human upon the face of the earth will shake at my whose presence? Israel presence, brethren?
No.
Whose presence that will be there?
Yeshua present. God.
At the presence, the mountain, what will happen to the mountain? The mountain will be thrown down. The mountains. You understand what kind of day we're talking about? When God shake the sea. You ever hear about the sea, the fishes in the sea shaking? You ever heard the birds in the air shaking from an earthquake? It's a great earthquake so big it's gonna shake the sky. The mountains, not mountain, the mountains will be thrown down. The steep places will fall. Every wall will fall to the ground. I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains. It is a declaration of Adonai. Every man's sword will be against his brother. You're going to read that in Zechariah 14. He will turn the swords against each other. I will punish him with the pestilence and with blood. What will happen? I will pour out rain on him, and on his troops, and on his people with him, torrential rain, with hailstones, with fire and brimstones. So that is not a regular war. That's a war that Messiah, God said he will be, Messiah will be present. This is the same Armageddon war. If you read the details we just read, it's the same war. And after that, the cleansing will take place. That's why all this mountain and all this destruction is going to take place. The land must be cleansed. All this dead body, all the blood, the land must be cleansed. So Revelation 19, Ezekiel 38, 39, Zechariah 12 to Zechariah 14. It's all the same war. All right, 19, Revelation 19, 19.
And I saw the beasts, the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him who sat on the horse and against his army. Then the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet who worked signs in his presence, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worship his image. These two were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone, and the rest were killed with the sword which proceeded from the mouth of him who sat on the horse, and all the birds were filled with their flesh.
So we have fire and brimstone. We have earthquakes in Revelation, the last trumpet. The same scenario. The earthquake in Ezekiel 38, the fire and the brimstone. You also have the cleansing of the earth with the birds, the beast cleansing the earth. You have the war. All these are different events and details of the war that will transpire before Messiah comes to cleanse the earth.
Amen.
The destruction must take place. It must precede before the cleansing. And that's why we're dealing with the Day of Atonement. The cleansing of the land, the cleansing of the people, the fountain that will be opened, and the cleansing of the land. Let's prove this with more proof. We have a lot. We almost finished, but we have some prophets still saying the same thing. I want you to see we have multitude of witnesses. Not one. All the prophets are speaking of the same thing. Amos 9. I want to read Amos 9, 14 and 15, the last two verses. Yes, I will restore the captivity of my people of Israel. They will rebuild the desolate city, so the city has to be rebuilt because it will be destroyed. Half of the city will go forth into captivity. The houses will be rifled. The houses will be destroyed. So we have to rebuild. We have to rebuild that entire city. There will be devastation after the war. Yes, I will restore the captivity of my people and rebuild the desolate cities and that dwell in them. And we know this have happened with them returning to the land because the land was desolate for 2,000 years. They will plant and drink their wine. They will also make gardens and eat their fruit. Yes, I will plant them on their land. That have been fulfilled. They are there, but the war and will cause devastation again. And we will have to rebuild it again. Yes, I will plant them in their land, and they will never again be plucked up out of their land that I have given them, Adonai Your God have said it. The key is, when the Lord bring Israel back, they will never be uprooted. Do you understand? There will be no force. There will be no army. There will be no enemy that will uproot Israel from that land when the Lord bring them back after the 2,000 years. So the land that is there now, the people that is there now, more will come. More tribes will come. More will be brought in. Yeah, the 10 tribes will come in. But that people will never be uprooted from their land. Because the Lord have brought them back. And the city is rebuilt, but then there will be a war. We know the last war, there will be devastation. And then we have to rebuild again. We have to rebuild. But the people will never be removed. Because Messiah, when they think all hope is gone, because the parasha that's coming up this week tells you that, the song of Moses, he said he will leave Israel until Israel see all hope is gone and there is no refuge. Then the Lord will come and fight and deliver them. When all hope is gone. So that will happen in the Armageddon war. All the nations will come like a cloud to cover the land. And then the Lord will roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. The heavens and the earth will shake. The Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Let's see what the prophet said. All the prophets have something to say about the restoration of the people. Joel chapter 3, 19 to 21. Egypt will become a desolation and Edom a desert wasteland because of the violence against the children of Judah, because they shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah will be inhabited forever. Judah will be inhabited for how long? Forever. Jerusalem from generation to generation. The Bible says, 21, Joel 3, yeah. I will acquit their blood that I have not acquitted, for Adonai dwells in Zion. Some translations say, I will cleanse their blood, which I have not cleansed. So you see what will happen in Joel is saying in the end of the book. All Israel will be saved. He will cleanse the blood of those that he did not cleanse. It says, I will acquit the blood that I have not acquitted. They will dwell forever from generation to generation. That's what Joel said in the end of the book. This is going to get amazing right now. Isaiah 4. Isaiah 4. Let us see what Isaiah the prophet said. Look at this. This is one of my favorite scriptures. When it comes to the Day of Atonement, this is it. Isaiah 4 verse 2. In that day, the branch of Adonai will be beautiful and glorious. Brothers and sisters, who is the branch?
Yeshua.
In that day, the branch, Yeshua, will be high and lifted up, will be glorified. And the fruit of the land excellent and appealing for Israel's survivors. Israel's survivors, the remnant of Israel. The survivors, which mean those who survived after the war. After the Armageddon war. So it will come to pass that whosoever is left in Zion and whoever remains in Jerusalem will be called everyone. Hey, listen, this is the word of God, man. You see that? That's the word of God. Everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem. They will be what? Holy. How are they going to be holy? We read it in Zechariah 12, Zechariah 13. A fountain will be opened for cleansing from sin and impurity. That's the Day of Atonement. They will be declared holy. Remember, after the Day of Atonement, all Israel will be declared holy. That's what Paul was quoting. That's where he was coming from when he said, and it shall come to pass, all Israel shall be saved. Because that's the resurrection also. The reward is given that same day to the saints, to the prophets, and to the righteous. Abraham will be there. Then shall the Lord come and all the saints with him. Amen. Zechariah 14 verse 5 and 4 and 5. His feet will stand back there on the Mount of Olives. And the mountain will open in 4 parts. And the Lord shall come and all the saints. All, not some. So all Israel, the dead ones who's righteous will resurrect. Those who dead, who grafted in, will resurrect. Those who are alive, who's grafted in, will resurrect. And those who are alive, who remain from the wall, will be holy. All the holy people will be holy. The resurrected, the grafted in resurrected one, the living all. You understand the point? All Israel, and including the remaining. I love this. So it will come to pass that whoever left in Zion and whoever remains in Jerusalem will be called holy. Everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem. After what? They'll be called holy after Adonai have washed the filth of the daughters of Zion and have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst of, by the spirit of judgment, by the spirit of burning. Remember, we just read in Joel, he shall cleanse the blood guilt of those he did not cleanse. All that remain. So that's what the prophecy is talking about. Remember, the Day of Atonement is for the whole house of Israel. It's to cleanse the whole house of Israel. And that will literally happen when Messiah comes. The one that will turn ungodliness from Jacob. The Lord shall come from Zion. And he's coming from Zion. The Bible says the Lord will roar out of Zion. And the Bible says he will lay in Zion a stone, a sure foundation. And remember, the stones that the builders reject is the head of the corner. So they have to look to him, the stone that they reject, the one whom they pierce. And he will make them clean. He will cleanse them and purge them according to this. He will wash away. Who will do that? Messiah. He have to turn the ungodliness from them. The Day of Atonement, that's what that is. And purge the blood of Jerusalem from the midst of spirit and judgment, spirit of burning. Then Adonai will create, after this cleansing, after this purging, then we come into the next feast. Then, after we cleanse, after we are purged, after the land is cleansed, the earth is purged, then Adonai will create over the whole area of Mount Zion and over her convocations a cloud by day. The glory will return. The glory that was in the wilderness, the Shekinah glory will return. And a smoke to shining of a flame like fire by night. That's the glory that was in the wilderness, brethren. The same thing, the cloud and the fire by night, and the same glory. For over all glory, you see, glory will be a canopy. What will come back? The glory. The glory of God fill this place. And what does psalmist sing? And the glory of the Lord fill in this place. The glory have departed from Israel. When the ark was taken, the Philistines took the ark with Eli and the sons Hophni and Phinehas. Ichabod, Phinehas' wife, said, the glory have departed from Israel. Do you know that the glory of God left when the first temple was, before the first temple was destroyed? Ezekiel saw it. If you read Ezekiel 1 to chapter 10, you will see where Ezekiel saw the glory of the Lord being taken up from the temple before it was destroyed. And Ezekiel saw, he had a vision of 4 beasts, creatures with wheels, and they had 4 faces. He called them the cherubims. They were angels. And Revelation, John saw the same creatures in Revelation 4. The 4 creatures with 4 faces. They are the cherubims, they are angels. And they carry the glory of God. They carry God, they cover God's face and cover God's feet. And the presence, they are the ones carrying God. And Ezekiel saw that glory being lifted up from the temple. It left. So the glory of God departed from Jerusalem. Even though they built a second temple, the glory never returned in the second temple like it did, like it was in the first, in the tabernacle. But it's going to return again when Messiah comes. It's going to return again right here. After the cleansing of the people, the city and the people will be clean, because remember the Day of Atonement is to cleanse the sanctuary, is to cleanse the place, is to cleanse the tabernacle, is to cleanse the land. Jerusalem can't have all these dead bodies for the glory of God to return. All these dead and all this curse and all these idols and all these evil spirits can't be there. You have to cleanse this. That Jerusalem there you see in the Middle East have to be clean before Messiah, before God could bring his glory. Messiah's job is to cleanse that. That's what Messiah coming to do. The Messiah, the high priest, have to turn ungodliness from Jacob, and he have to cleanse the land. That's why he's going to have men to cleanse, to bury people, to do all the logistic. All you think he can just stay there and do a miracle? Boom, the land cleansed. No, we have to cleanse the land. That's what you read in Ezekiel 39, and you read in all these prophets talking about the cleansing, the cleansing, cleaning the people of Israel, cleaning the land, cleaning the mountains, cleaning everything. Then the whole area shall be, then Adonai will create over the whole area of Mount Zion. So over the whole area, the whole mountain, Jerusalem and the whole mountain now will have a convocation. A cloud by day and a smoke of shining by fire by night. For over all, glory will be the canopy. See, the glory of God will come back again. Then there will be a sukkah. The sukkah is the New Jerusalem, the tabernacle. There will be a sukkah for shade. Remember that city is great and high? It's going to be a shade. It's also going to be a light. People can walk in the light of it. In Jerusalem, you wouldn't be hot or cold or none of that. It will be perfect weather. Perfect weather. It says it in Zechariah 14. No cold, no heat, perfect weather. A flaming fire by night. Then there will be a sukkah for shade by day from the heat, and a refuge for shelter from the storm and from the rain. See, after the cleansing, after atonement, Yom Kippur, that's getting ready. So the next discussion, the next teaching will be tabernacle, sukkah. What does that mean? So this is taking you right into the sukkah. So after the cleansing comes the sukkah. Now they can tabernacle. After they're clean, now they can tabernacle with Hashem. Let's read this. Look at this. So you say Isaiah, isn't Isaiah beautiful the way he put it? I love that text. Let's go down. Look at that. Now that the land is cleansed, now that the people is cleansed, now that the sanctuary is cleansed, what will take place now? What will happen? Now everything is clean. We're going to begin the millennium now. Everything is clean. Things are purified. The people are buried. Things are happening. This tells you after the cleansing, he said, after he washed away the filth, then the glory will return. The glory is not going to come down until he cleansed the land. Let us see if the other prophets would support what he's saying. After the cleansing, after the atonement, the glory comes. After the atonement, God's presence comes. Let's see if the prophet said. Look at what the prophet said. Jeremiah 3:16. Jeremiah 3:16. You have a reader?
It will be in those days when you multiply and become fruitful in the land. It is a declaration of Adonai. They will no longer talk about the ark of the covenant of Adonai, nor will it come to mind or be remembered. Neither will it be missed or another one made again. At that time, they will call Jerusalem the throne of Adonai, and all the nations will gather into it, to Jerusalem in the name of Adonai.
Hold on. Look at that. When the Lord bring them back, gather his people back. After the cleansing, we wouldn't miss, since the Ark of the Covenant was hidden by Jeremiah and taken away. The Ark of the Covenant did not return in the second temple. We didn't have the Ark of the Covenant. And also, that prophet Hosea said that, Hosea chapter 2, chapter 3, said that Israel will abide many days without a priest, without Urim, without Atonement, without a sacrifice for many days until the latter days, until the last days. Then they shall get. I could find that scripture, but in the last days when Israel will return and come back to God and worship God and all. This is being done now, brethren. The bringing back of the exile, the restoration of the people, the cleansing of the people's heart and their mind, the putting inside of them his spirit, putting inside of them the heart of flesh, sprinkling them, cleansing them. It first start individually, and then it will happen nationally when Messiah returns to cleanse the land and the people. Jerusalem, they will not be looking for an ark, and they will not build another ark of the covenant. Why? Why we will not build another ark of the covenant? Why would they not look for another ark of the covenant? Because Jerusalem will be called the throne of God. God will be there. God's glory will be there. Eventually, God himself will leave heaven and come down in his full glory. Eventually, that will happen. And that is in Jerusalem. Do you hear what I'm telling you? But it takes a process for that to happen. The first step is for him to bring his Shekinah glory. To bring the glory that was there in the days of Moses with the ark. The glory when the temple was there, he's going to first bring that glory. After the 1,000 years is when he's going to come in his full glory. But there will be a new heaven and a new earth. There will be a complete cleansing. But look at this. The prophecy is saying Jerusalem shall be called the throne of Adonai. That's the ultimate plan. And all nations will be gathered there. So we know that's during the millennium, when all nations have to come up to Jerusalem to worship. It says it in Isaiah 2 and Micah 4 and Isaiah 66. All flesh must come from one new moon and from one Shabbat to another. Also, Ezekiel 46 said that. They will have to come to worship in the eastern gate. To worship every new moon and every Shabbat. So we see all nations must come. The mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountain, Isaiah 2. And all nations shall flow unto it. For many shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. And we will walk in his path. For out of Zion will go forth the Torah and the word of God from Jerusalem. The nation will not lift up sword against nation anymore. Neither shall they learn war anymore. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. That's Isaiah chapter 2. One go down. The nations will farm. They will live under the fig tree. and their vineyard. And they will come to Jerusalem to worship and to learn Torah. All nations. This is the time of the millennium. At that time, Jerusalem shall be called what? The throne of Adonai. Let us see that. That's when his glory returns. That's when the glory of Adonai returns. Jerusalem shall be called the throne of Adonai. And let us see. The prophets does say that. Look at that. Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37 will tell you that. Verses 26. So Charlene, read that again. Ezekiel 37, 26. Yeah, 26.
I will cut a covenant of shalom with them. It will be an everlasting covenant with them. I will give to them and multiply them. I will set up my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling place will be over them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Then the nations will know that I am Adonai who sanctifies Israel, when my sanctuary is in their midst forever.
Huh. You see? You see? This is what will happen. This is Ezekiel 37 talks about the regathering of the nations, raising them up from the dead, resurrecting the righteous Jews, the righteous Israelites, and all the righteous. Ezekiel 37 talks about the resurrection. Ezekiel 37 talks about after the resurrection, after the bringing back of the exiles, after he cleansed them, after the cleansing of the land, then he said, my dwelling place, he will make a covenant with them, and he will make an everlasting covenant with them. I will give them, and I will multiply them. He said, I will set my sanctuary in the midst, among them forever. The sanctuary will be among them. So that's after the cleansing. After the cleansing, he's going to set his sanctuary among them. He said, my dwelling place, his tabernacle, will be over them. His tabernacle will be over them. His dwelling place will be over them. The tabernacle is the New Jerusalem. I will be their God, they will be my people. And all the nations will know who sanctified Israel, will know when my sanctuary is in the midst of them forever. So that God will put his sanctuary after he cleansed the land. His sanctuary will be there. That's where the temple will be built and God's glory will return that time. And he will have that cloud and that fire. All of the glory of God, the Shekinah glory of God will return. You ready for the last two scriptures?
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's see what else Ezekiel says. So the sanctuary of God will be in the midst of Israel, in the midst of Zion, in Jerusalem. All this takes place after the cleansing. All right? Because he's cleaning the earth for the glory of God to return. Ezekiel 43, 1 to 7.
What?
Somebody want to read it?
Afterward he brought me to the gate that faces toward the east. And behold, the glory of God of Israel came from the way of the east. His voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory.
Okay, stop there. So what did he see? Ezekiel is seeing something. Now, if you read from Ezekiel chapter 40, and Ezekiel 41 and 42, it talks about, this is all about the temple. It says the temple. This is about the temple, the new temple that will be built. You have to describe it to Israel, everything. Now, this is the east right here. This is the eastern gate. It's shut. This gate here is shut. The glory of the Lord, when it departed, the temple is in here. It departed out of the eastern gate when Ezekiel saw it in Ezekiel 11 and Ezekiel 10. He saw it lifted up to the east. It went on the Mount of Olives and it departed. The glory of God. Now Ezekiel is saying he sees the glory of God returning. Yeah. After that third temple is built. It's after the third temple is built now. After the cleansing now. After the cleansing and the third temple is built, he was led to the gate looking towards the east, that same gate. He looking towards the Mount of Olives. And that's where Yeshua's feet stand, right? And behold, the glory of God, what he saw? The glory. Remember we talked about the glory of God in Isaiah 4? The canopy and the glory. He see the glory of God of Israel was coming from the east. It's coming back. His voice was like the sound of many waters. The earth was radiant with his glory. So the earth fit. There was a brightness when that glory was returning. Okay, keep on reading, sister. Verse 3.
It was like the appearance of the vision which I saw, like the vision which I saw when I came to destroy the city. The vision was like the vision which I saw by the river Sheba.
Right.
And I fell on my face.
Stop there. We don't have time, but if you read Ezekiel chapter 10, from chapter 1 to 10, you would see where Ezekiel had this same vision you're talking about here at the river of Sheba. He had this vision when God was coming to destroy the city and destroy the children of Israel and take them into exile into Babylon. He had the vision there and he saw that vision, and we saw when the glory of God departed. Now we see in the vision very similar to that vision like when he saw, but the glory now is returning. The appearance of the vision that I saw was like the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. The vision was like the vision that I saw by the river Sheba. So I fell on my face. And what happened? Keep reading, sis. 4.
And the glory of the Lord came into the temple by the way of the gate which faces toward the east. The Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of the Lord filled the temple.
You see that? That's the third temple. The glory of the Lord returned into the third temple and filled it. So God, now this is the glory of the Lord. He's not coming now in his full glory there. That's one glory. You have glory to glory. That's one glory. Because why? Because the temple will be built and he's going to grace that temple with his presence. But the fullness of God, of his glory, is after the 1,000 years. Always remember that. The earth cannot contain the full glory of God. It will be destroyed. They have to be made new. Let me tell you why. You see blood? Do you know? No blood of human beings can go before God. Do you know that? Do you know that? The angels, they don't have blood. They are spirits. That's why they can be in God's presence. But human beings, no man can see God's face and live. You have to be immortal. You have to change first. Flesh and blood. Paul said, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom. So for God to come in his full glory, God have to come in a way where human beings still can come in his presence, but they have to be purified. That's why they have to still follow the laws of purification during the 1,000 years, because the presence of God is there like it was in the Mishkan, like it was in the tabernacle, like it was in the temple. Woman who's seen the periodical cycle, menstruation cannot come to that temple because the glory of God will be there because of blood. Even as a human being, we cannot see the face of God, even though we are ritually clean, as pure as we may be pure. As long as we have blood in our veins, we cannot see God's face and live. Do you understand why God cannot come in his full glory? Because of blood and flesh and blood. That's why Paul extract from scripture, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom. So we must be changed first before God can come. So but he can come in this glory like he did in the days of Israel. It's fine. That glory will return. Do you understand? That glory will return. So you said that the glory of the Lord came from the east and filled the house. Amen? Filled the house. So that making sense? Now all this could only occur after the cleansing, after the Day of Atonement. This is just a foretaste of what tabernacles will be. This is preparing you for the tabernacle. what the tabernacle will be. So we're dealing with, but the cleansing and the purification and the making righteous, making holy, that is the Day of Atonement. That's how that will fulfill. It's the literal cleansing and purging of the land, purging of the people of Israel, and making the whole land and the people holy. That's what the Day of Atonement is. That's why when we read in the Day of Atonement, the priests had to cleanse the land, cleanse the sanctuary, they had to cleanse the people, and make atonement for the whole house. That's what the Day of Atonement is about. I think 1 through 7, yeah. And the root came upon me. The root took me, verse 5, the root took me up and brought me into the inner court. Behold, the glory of Adonai filled the house. Then I heard someone speaking to me from the house. While a man was standing beside me, he said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne. Remember we just read in Jeremiah, Jerusalem shall be called the throne of. We just read in Ezekiel 37, God said, I will put my sanctuary in their midst. When I will dwell in the midst of Israel, all the world will know. So this is something. God is getting ready to tabernacle among us. Getting ready for the Feast of Tabernacle right there. You see that? It says, he said, Son of man, this is the place of my throne. You see that? That's the temple. The place of the soles of my feet. God is speaking. Where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel. The house of Israel will no longer defile my holy name. Neither they nor the kings nor the prostitutes. By their prostitution or by their corpse. You see the corpse, the dead? The corpse of their kings in the high place, because they put the burial, they put the sepulchre of the kings right by the temple. By the prostitution, by the corpse, by the kings of the high place, when they set the threshold next to the threshold of the doorpost, next to the doorpost. Oh yes, and there was just a wall between me and them. They defiled my holy name by the abomination that they committed. Because that's what they did. Ezekiel saw them worshiping the Tammuz. He saw them worshiping the sun. Ezekiel said, this abomination is nothing. God tells Ezekiel, go into the inner court and see the 70 men. How they worship the sun. And they bring God. They desecrate the temple. They bring all kind of gods into the temple. And so God's glory depart. His glory depart. After they start worshiping and desecrating his temple, his glory depart. But now his glory will return. And he's saying here that they will no more do this. This prostitution of prostitution is when they worship other gods. When they worship these other gods, they will no longer do that. Amen? So he said that Jerusalem and that holy place, the place that he chose, where Abraham offered Isaac, that is the place of his throne. And where his soles of his feet. So we see here all the prophets saying that God will dwell there. His glory will come there. The soles of his feet, he will also be there in a unique way. He will reign in a special way. Verse 12.
Yeah. 12.
This is the Torah of the house. Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at that.
You go down.
This is the Torah of the house, the temple. It says the whole territory around it, around the temple, it on the top of the mountain will be what? Oh, you see, he's going to cleanse it. Remember, the most holy place was a little place inside the temple. They had an inner court and an outer court. Now, the whole mountain around the temple will be most holy. That's the soles of his feet. That's when Messiah comes. And he cleansed the land. The land will be cleansed. And the earth will be purified. The earth will be pure. You see, Messiah is called the Prince of Peace. Messiah will rule from sea to sea. Messiah will have dominion over the world. At that time, there will be no hurt nor destroy in all his holy mountain. The lion will eat straw. The wolf will eat straw. The serpent will eat straw. All the animals will eat grass. There will be no destruction. The whole world will be at peace. The land will be at rest. It's called the Prince of Peace. His kingdom will be called a kingdom of peace. Of the increase of his kingdom, there shall be no end. He shall have peace during his reign. Do you understand? That's the day of atonement. The cleansing of the people, the cleansing of the land. And after the cleansing comes the glory. Really, the tabernacle is coming now. The glory of God have to return. Because remember, these people have to worship God in Jerusalem. They got to come from every new moon and from one Shabbat. And they got to come. So now that's why they're going to need priests to teach them how to present themselves. Because if you come anyhow, you're going to fall dead. Because the wicked, the people who have to come to worship, that's why they will have sacrifices still. It says it in the same chapter, Ezekiel 40 to 48, it talks about the sacrifices. Zechariah 14, because why are they going to need sacrifices? Because they have blood. They got to be purified. They got to be clean. They have to do mikveh. All these things have to be purified. But the saints don't need purification. Remember, because we're not flesh and blood. Because when Messiah comes, the dead in Messiah will be changed. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, we shall be changed. We will not be flesh and blood. We have a tabernacle coming from above. We have the body of an angel. So we are holy. So we don't need sacrifice. We don't need purification. We don't need blood. We don't need none of that. Because we are like an angel, sinless. But the people who have to come to worship the King, the people who we have to rule over with a rod of iron, they have blood. They making children. They have impurities of the flesh. They will be sick. We have to give them the leaf for their healing. Yeah? You think making sense now? You see what the Bible is talking about? All these things, I hope it's coming together. All the word. This is why if you serve him now, it's to your benefit. You will be king and priest if you serve him now. You will have the nature of an angel. You will have the power of Messiah. You will be able to appear and disappear. And listen, when they go to the mountain to worship, we don't even have to come visible. I can come there as an invisible man. Because we are like angels. Yeah. You can appear and disappear. What a glory. At that time, the whole territory above and the top of the mountain will be most holy. Not holy, It's most holy, like the inner court, like the sanctuary. All the mountain will be most holy. Because the glory of God will be there in such a powerful way. And Messiah. And then when you read, that's why they will come and they have to stay at the eastern gate. They can't come further. The people, the prince will be able to go in. And we the righteous, like the angels, we can go anyhow. We have no limits. But the people of the land, they got to be careful. They got to stay at the eastern gate and worship for one new moon after one Shabbat. They can't come in to the most holy. So praise the Lord. Let me just read Isaiah 39, Ezekiel 39, the last verse. Look at what Ezekiel 39 says. After all of the cleansing, and after the glory of God's return, Ezekiel 48, verse 35.
35. 48, 35.
After the land, now if you read the chapter 48, it explains to you how the temple will be in the middle of them, and the tribes on top, and explain the diameter. It gives you all the details of how everything will be set up during the 1,000 years. Now that the temple is set up, everything is set, and the glory of God returned, what it says. The last verse, it shall be 1,800 cubits all around the city. From that day on, The name of the city will be called
The Lord is there.
Adonai is there.
Adonai is there. The glory of God will be there.
Yay.
The glory of God returned. All that cleansing was to prepare the people and the earth and Jerusalem, Israel, and the people and the whole earth for God's glory to return to the earth, to Israel, to the most holy place. The name of the city will be called Adonai is there. And this is the foundation or the preliminary for the Feast of Tabernacle. Then the rain begins, and then we're going into the Feast of Tabernacle. So we'll explain the Feast of Tabernacle the next week, Monday. Next week, Monday. 7 days of Tabernacle. So God bless you. I hope this made sense to you. I hope there's more understanding and clarification about the Day of Atonement. But really, in conclusion, the Day of Atonement is the day when God cleansed Israel, cleansed the land, cleansed Jerusalem from idols, from evil spirits, cleansed Israel from all of their sins, where all Israel will be saved. And that's the day when God, after cleansing, the glory of God will return to the earth.